Hi guys, Annette here. I have a Spanish rice recipe for you today. I should be posting the bean recipe first, and then this one will be coming up second, so you can make them together for a meal if you want to. I do want to let you know also that the rice that I'm using and the pinto beans that I used both came from the Dollar Tree. So this is a very, very inexpensive meal as well. The most expensive thing that you're going to have to buy is the salt pork or the bacon for the beans. This rice is really easy, really basic, and I'm going to go over the ingredients with you right now. There's 1 cup of rice, 1 cup of tomato sauce, and if you're a bigger family, I suggest you double this recipe. I am mostly going to be eating this for myself. There's going to be leftovers as well because 1 cup of rice makes about 2 cups cooked. So this makes more than plenty for me, but if you're a family, you probably definitely want to double or triple this recipe. But like I said, 1 cup of rice, 1 cup of tomato sauce. I'm going to be using some prepared garlic. There's half of a yellow onion there. If you're going to double the recipe or triple it, you can probably just use 1 onion, even if you triple it. But you can use the whole onion if you double the recipe. And then here are my spices. I'm going to bring them over here into the light so they can see them a little bit better. There is a ½ teaspoon of salt, a ½ teaspoon of onion granulated, a ½ teaspoon of granulated garlic, a ½ teaspoon of ancho chili powder. You can use whatever chili powder you want. Ancho chili powder has just a little bit of spice to it, so that's what I decided to use today. And a ½ teaspoon of cumin. And that's everything for this recipe. I have a couple teaspoons of oil heating up in here. Unfortunately, my burner is uneven, but that's starting to get warmed up, and as soon as that's warmed up, I'm going to put the onions in there. It's starting to get warm, so I can probably add the onions in. I'm just going to saute the onions and the garlic just a little bit before adding the rice, the tomato sauce, and then you're also going to need a cup of water because you need 2 cups of liquid for every 1 cup of rice. And I'll probably add in a cup of water to go along with the cup of tomato sauce. The onions are going to render off just a little bit of liquid as well, so that should be more than enough liquid to cook the rice. So there goes in the onions. Give these a little bit of a stir. You just want these to start to get a little translucent because we're using white rice today, so it only takes about 15 minutes to cook, so your onions won't be cooking for a long time. I do also do this recipe with brown rice usually for myself. It just takes quite a bit longer. Brown rice takes between 45 minutes and an hour to cook. So if you're going to make brown rice, make sure that you plan out enough time to do that. I'm sure you could also do this recipe in your electronic pressure cooker if you have one. I'm fine with making rice on the stove, but I'm sure it makes brown rice a lot faster. So you could probably add all of these ingredients into your electronic pressure cooker and then just follow the instructions for cooking rice on your pressure cooker. But today we're going to do it on the stove. So that is just long grain white rice right there. So after these saute for a few minutes, I will bring you guys back. Alright, the onions are starting to get a little translucent and a little color. I'm going to add some prepared garlic in there. Stir that around. Oops, sorry, my messy kitchen. Just going to stir the garlic right in there. And there goes my uneven burner. Sorry about that, guys. And I don't want the garlic to burn, so I'm going to go ahead and add the rice right in. I like to stir the rice around in the aromatics and the oil a little bit, just so they kind of soak it up and get some flavor on them. I'm also going to add the seasonings. And I told you guys a half teaspoon of salt before. That was wrong. It is a full teaspoon of salt. So half teaspoon of everything else, full teaspoon of salt. That's going to go right in there. Give this a stir. Smell those spices already coming out. Let them bloom a little bit in the heat. And then I will be adding the tomato sauce and the water. Alright, so in goes the tomato sauce. Now I'm going to use the same measuring cup so I can get all of the good tomato sauce out and add 1 cup of water. Alright, here goes in the 1 cup of water with a little bit of tomato sauce that was clinging to the sides. Now I'm going to bring this up to a boil, and once it's boiling, I'm going to put the lid on it. You need a pan or a pot with a very tight fitting lid to make rice. And then I'm going to let it simmer for 15 minutes. This does seem a little bit thick. I think I'm going to go ahead and add another 1/4 cup of water. So I'm going to make that 1 cup of tomato sauce and 1 1/4 cup of water. So off camera, I'm going to add another 1/4 cup of water. And once this comes up to a boil, I'll bring you guys back. Alright guys, this is up to a really good boil. You put the lid on, you turn the heat down to low, and you literally just don't touch it. You don't lift the lid, you don't stir it, you don't check on it, you just leave it for 15 minutes. It's really important with rice, especially to get the rice right consistency, to just leave it alone. If you lift off the lid and you stir it and all that, you can get very sticky, gummy rice. A lot of people don't like that. I know I don't. I think this is one of the hardest parts for people to get, that they just need to just leave this alone on the stove. Even the brown rice that cooks for like 45 minutes or an hour. Once I bring it to a boil, I put the lid on, I turn the heat down, I don't touch it. So we'll come back in 15 minutes and I'll show you guys what this looks like. Okay guys, so it's been 15 minutes. This is what it looks like. It's kind of hard to see through all the condensation. It's going to look all red on top because of the tomato sauce. The rice should be cooked underneath. What you're going to do now is you're going to turn off your burner and then let this sit for about 5 minutes, and then you're going to come back and stir it. So when I do that, I'll show you guys what that looks like. Alright guys, I let this stand for about 5 minutes or so, and now I'm just going to stir it up. I'm just going to use this spoon. I'm going to use 2 hands, so I just want to show you what it looked like before I stirred it up. Like I said, the tomato sauce is pretty much on top, but you can see I scooted some of the rice right there. And it's perfectly cooked, and once I stir it up, I'll show you guys what it looks like. Okay guys, there's the Spanish rice all done. It's a little bit more tomatoey than maybe the kind that you'd get at the Mexican restaurant. I like it that way, with a little bit more tomato. You could always use less tomato sauce if you wanted to. If you wanted chunks of tomatoes in yours, you could use something like diced tomatoes or Rotel instead of the tomato sauce. It's all up to you. Pretty forgiving recipe. If you make your rice right, when you go to stir it up, as you can see there, it will not stick to the bottom of your pan. I always make this in a stainless steel pan, and it's never burnt or stuck on the bottom once you stir it up. Sometimes there's a little bit, but it just because it's like a little bit dried on, but it comes right up when you go to stir it. So this is ready to be served up. So I'm going to make up a plate with some rice and the beans that I made in a previous video, and I'll show you guys what that looks like. Alright guys, so there's a look at my dinner for tonight. The whole pinto beans that are in a previous video that you guys can go watch, and the Spanish rice. And that's my dinner for tonight. This could be a vegetarian meal if you left the bacon and salt pork out of the beans. Both of these meals, or both of these dishes, can be made from food storage. You can either leave the bacon or salt pork out, or if you home can bacon or ham, which I know is not recommended, but lots of people do, you could put those in there. Or if you have canned bacon that's commercially canned, I believe it's called Yoder's, you could always use that. if you wanted to make the beans from food storage. And the rice you could also make from food storage if you keep dehydrated garlic and onion on hand along with all of the spices. And if you have tomato powder, or keep cans of tomato sauce or diced tomatoes in your food storage. So these are both definitely food storage / pantry meals that are very budget friendly and very filling and very inexpensive, and great to just know how to make in case one day you need to. So there is a rice and bean recipe for all of you, and if you like this recipe, I hope you try it. I hope you enjoy it, and feel free to always like and subscribe and comment. I love to hear you guys' comments. I love to comment back to you. So hopefully I'll be getting more videos out for you now that I am no longer practically deathly ill. So hopefully more will be coming soon. If you guys have any ideas that you want me to do or to try or to videotape, please let me know. And until next time, guys, I'll talk to you later. Bye.